Welcome to this session of Health Live at Seniors Today. We have here with us Ms. Rutu Dhodapkar, who is the Chief Dietician at the PD Hinduja Hospital and Medical Research Center, which is in Khar in Mumbai. She has over 2 decades, 22 years of experience in the hospital sector and has extensive training in dietetics and therapeutic nutrition management. She is certified in Bariatric Nutrition and is a Certified Diabetic Educator. She's also completed a certificate course in Renal Nutrition. We've had a session on this in the past, Oncology Nutrition, and in PCOS and Lifestyle Management. She's completed a post-graduation in Dietetics and Hospital Food Service from IHMCTN Mumbai in 1995. She has worked with the PD Hinduja Hospital, and which is in Khar from 2021, and earlier with Max Greater Noida, and Vaishali, which is in Ghaziabad, Ojjus, Ruby Hall, Mumbai, Cumbala Hill Hospitals, and Talwalkars all in Mumbai. She's a life member of the Indian Dietetic Association, and she has been awarded with the GEM Award for Excellence in 2016, Exemplary Contribution in Learning and Development Interventions of Organization in 2017, and has successfully completed the NABH audit, which is and the reaccreditation audit and surveillance audit in Max Healthcare Greater Noida. Welcome to Health Live at Seniors Today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We do this, rather you could call it a nasty thing or a nice thing, that before the festive season every year, we do a session with a dietitian, with a nutritionist.
That's good. Only just to make them remember that they should not be having whatever festival items are there. Huh?
Well, whatever you say. So, when you have this line which saying, kuch meetha ho jaye, right? And so then we come to the, our
so
dietitian.
Then the next line comes from so samajh ke kha lena.
So samajh ke kha lena. So over to you, ma'am, for this session. And what we'll do is we will immediately after the session is over, we will request, as we always do, we request our readers who have here. We've got 90 people already, and perhaps another 600 odd who are watching it on other platforms, to send us questions, and we will answer. I will moderate the session and address them to you. As always, do remember that if you are not able to take notes, don't bother. This session will be live, will be recorded, and will be shown on our Seniors Today platform on Monday evening, along with the takeaways which are written by a medical practitioner, and so you can watch it again over there. So if you missed anything on the presentation that ma'am is making, you can watch it again over there. Over to you, and then we will take the questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'll start sharing my slides. So our aim was to focus on the nutrition for the elderly, and how much, what, how, everything has been there. We talk in some time, So we start on with nutrition, like in how important it is in older adults, right? So if you see older adults, as soon as these adults are being retired, or maybe after 50, so they have certain things. Actually, the entire life they have been working hard to make themselves comfortable, and then the sense of comfortability is there, where they have enough little time, which they can call them as a me time, right? So when the me time is been there, they focus on their daily activities if they have time. But if they have meetings still going on, they focus on the meetings first. So health comes a secondary, and the meetings and the office comes first. So we usually tell, as soon as you get time, focus on your health, so that the body, whatever alarms we should be able to concentrate on them. So nutrition is being eating healthy, eating balanced. They should include carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins, and also not to forget of water. Now what happens is, as there is humidity in air, or maybe it is hot season, so ACs are on. because we have most of the times ACs on just to make us comfortable. But when the ACs are on, there is no sweat. No sweat means no water loss. No water loss means body doesn't allow for water. That is, you have to drink water. So you don't feel thirsty. So you end up having less of water. So good nutrition, if you see, the water plays a very important role because it is a universal solvent. So if it is a universal solvent, we have to have it to remove our toxins from our body. We have to get enough hydration. We have to also think of the toxins which have to be excreted from our body. Then there are at this particular age, after 45, we come across with osteoporosis, maybe high blood pressure, maybe heart diseases, maybe diabetes. There are certain people who go along with this all comorbidities. So this all depends upon diet. It comes to how diet we are following. There are certain times the body gives an alarm suddenly. We are fit and fine, and sudden alarm causes a just entire shake-up in our life. That is a life change experience which is ahead. So this all things matters. So proper nutrition is very important. So if we say a healthy things, we have like a home where we have one meal together with everybody. And the rest meals we get distributed. So breakfast is when if we have to go to work, breakfast is again in a hurry. Mid-afternoon, mid-evening, these are all the challenges. If we have meetings planned, if we have proper allocations of those meetings, then we also should have some time for ourselves. That should be a me time, right? To eat and to drink proper water and proper nutrition should go. Whereas if anybody is on the medicines, they have to keep time for themselves for the medicines to go on, right? So the medicines also play a very important role if they are on, right? If they are not, it's very good. Again, there has to be some hobbies which we have to always follow because hobbies gives us happiness. Which happiness? The self-happiness, because every time doing for everybody is good, but sometimes we have to think of ourselves also, right? So at this particular age, even sense of smell, sense of taste, sense of maybe touch, so that is very important. So if you just think of opening a bottle of water, and if you cannot do it, means you're not having a proper nutrition. Because if you open the bottle and it just slips from your hand, or you're not able to open a closed bottle, means you are not taking proper nutrition. So you have to focus on it as early as possible. So if you see senior living, the energies, proteins, carbohydrates, fats has to be balanced as per the age. So it has to match your ideal body weight. If your ideal body weight is too high, that is if you are overweight or maybe you're obese, you have to adjust your calories and proteins as per the requirement of your body. Protein again varies from 0.8 to 1.2. So if you are underweight, you have to have good amount of protein so that you get good nutrition. Then evenly distribution in the entire day. It is not like only one meal has a protein and one meal has a fiber and other meals you don't have any protein at all. It should not be like that. So each meal has to be concentrated for proteins. Each meal has to be concentrated on fibers as well. Now fibers should be soluble and insoluble fibers where you're not constipated. So that has to be taken care of. So it has been included along with the protein, right? Carbohydrates, again, if you see carbohydrates, simple and the complex carbohydrates, both are to be concentrated on. Simple carbohydrates, if you're not diabetic, it's good, okay. But if you're diabetic, it has to be avoided. And complex carbohydrate to be concentrated in both the times because fiber is very important. So 30 to 35 grams of fiber per day has to be there in the food. So this can be taken in different various ways. I'll be talking about it also. So lipids can be 20 to 35% of total calories, whereas the low fat content doesn't mean no fat. It has to be low fat. So there are certain heart elements or certain cardiac issues which which the seniors may face at during this age. So it can be low fat. It can't be no fat, because fat is equally important, right? So that also has to be concentrated on. Again, vitamins and minerals play an important role, like vitamin B12 and vitamin D. Most of the time it is low. So there are very few people without any supplements, without any dietary modifications. This always it comes low. So we have to really concentrate on this two vitamins, where most of the times it is low. Folate, again, it is there present in all vegetables and fruits. So it is very easily available for the body. Calcium, very important, along with vitamin D, it has good absorption. So both has to be included together. Potassium and sodium are electrolytes, where electrolytes imbalance if happens, then it is a problem, but otherwise they can manage themselves well. Again, sodium has been present in each and every item, in visible and in invisible form. So invisible sodium we cannot see, but visible sodium we need to monitor if we have any BP issues or any hypertension, cholesterol, those things. Zinc, again, is very important mineral to look upon. So how healthy can we? So if we eat good food with a lot of vegetables and fruits, whole grains, whole oats and meats, if we include in that, and we have low-fat milk, cheese, rice, milk, like that, if we include in the food, it gives a lot of nutrients to the food, right? Avoid empty calories in the sense candies, chips, baked foods, soda, alcohol. So this limitations are there. So if there are certain elements, if we have certain comorbidities, these all things have to be avoided. So pick up foods for low, that is low in cholesterol and fat, means कि when you go and buy in the market, you have to always see the labels. So labels are very important. I'm going to talk about labels also in short while. Drink enough of liquids so that you're not dehydrated, right? So dehydration, again, I said ACs are on and we don't really feel very thirsty. So very important to drink enough liquids. There are certain times where the liquids we drink more because we are feeling thirsty. So why this thirst is there is also a point to be noted, because if we are thirsty again and again, there needs to be a proper monitoring ki why such thing is happening, right? So that we have to be taking care of. Be physically active. So it's not a strenuous exercise, but yes, there has to be some exercise so that the food, whatever is being taken in, has to be digested well. So that we have to really take care. And if we have loss of appetite, or we don't feel hungry, then we have to really think why it is so. So we have to monitor our diet properly. So now coming to the protein part, as I said, it's very important. 0.8 grams per kg per body weight is the minimum requirement for protein. But if the protein is less in the body, that means if the person is underweight, if the person's protein intake is very low, needs to be monitored. So sources of protein to be included, like animal protein, dairy products, to be included in the meals. But if the person is a vegan or allergic to lactose, there are certain other proteins available in the market. Like we have pulses, we can have combinations like soya, we can have combinations with nuts, we can include seeds in our food. Essential amino acids to be included, because muscle protein synthesis as compared to vegetable source, animal proteins is good, because animal proteins are being said as high quality proteins. Then the plant proteins. So if we are having milk and milk products, and we are having non-veg, it is a high quality protein. So that is good. So usually what happens in the olders or in the elderly things, they lead to muscle loss. Muscle loss may cause osteoporosis, then osteoarthritis, and so on. If the dietary protein is not taken well, the muscles become weak, right? And then even a slight, the bones become brittle again, and then they may have experience fracture, or maybe just a slip can cause bone tear or something of that sort. So body calcium is very important to take care in this part. Again, vitamin D intake should be taken care of, right? Coming to vitamin D, low vitamin Ds are all associated with risk of falls, osteoporosis, fractures, cardiovascular diseases. So this all things are interconnected with each other. So sources of vitamin D are egg yolks, cod liver oil, fatty fish like salmon and tuna, and mackerels. and fortified milk with vitamin D. So we can include this, and our main source is sunlight. At present, sunlight is is not available at present because of the weather. But yes, when there is sunlight, we have to take morning sunlight, which is good for our health and a natural source of vitamin D. Vitamin E. Now, this vitamin E is also very important. It is found in nuts, peanuts, almonds, vegetable oils. You can include, in the meal. If it is vegetables, you can have avocado. You can have almonds. This all has very high of vitamin E. Green vegetables like broccoli and spinach also has vitamin E. Now, if vitamin E is less, then we might have skin issues, hair loss. So this all is interconnected with each other. Vitamin C again. Vitamin C is an immunity, it's good for immunity. The best sources are all citrus fruits, tomatoes, and can be included in the meal, right? The vitamin C is also helps in recovery of most of the diseases. If the person is an anemic, vitamin C helps in absorption of iron. So always whenever there is an iron supplement or maybe iron source of is being taken, it has to be in vitamin C. So this remembers, like we can recall, say, in olden days, we used to have vegetables or we have to have meals with vitamin C, that is nimbu, that is lemon. So squeezing lemon during your meals is good source because you get vitamin C as the fresh source. Vitamin C is volatile also. So again, vitamin C comes down, so it gets evolved or evaporates. So you have to have always fresh source of vitamin C. As soon as you have citrus fruits, you don't cut it and keep it for long. You can have it as early as possible as soon as it is cut, right? Vitamin A. This is very important for visions, right? So low vitamin A intake, again, it coincides with low protein diet also. So vitamin A has to be taken in the food for our good eyesight. So green leafy vegetables, carrots, all orange color vegetables, all green color vegetables are very high in vitamin A, right? Vitamin E, again, it's coming, sorry. Vitamin B6, yeah. So vitamin B6 is found in variety of foods, right? Richest source is fish, potatoes, starchy vegetables, fruits. So these are all the sources where you can always take it. Vitamin B3, that is niacin. It is again present in nuts, legumes, right? So vitamin B12. Most of the time we find this vitamin to be low. So it has been supplemented most of the time. But deficiencies can cause depression, can cause psychosis, can cause dementia, multiple sclerosis, and the main thing is it cause lethargy. So it is lethargic means person doesn't feel like having anything, not even doing the regular activities. So that is the first thing. So we have to include vitamin B12 in our meals. This is present in all animal protein. So meat, fish, poultry, eggs. Nowadays they have done as fortified cereals. The milk and milk products also has vitamin B12. Folic acid. Folic acid is very important for DNA synthesis and amino acid metabolism. So deficiencies can cause anemia as well as diarrhea. So in both the cases, we have to take care. Folic acid deficiencies is not common. Sometimes if the intake is very poor, it has been said. So green leafy vegetables, fruits, nuts, beans, peas, dairy products, this all to be included in your regular meal. Sodium. Now sodium is very important. So if the person has high hypertension or any related issues, the BP related issues, the pedal edema is there, their liver is compromised. So in this all case, the sodium plays a very important role. Sometimes it is low, sometimes it is very high. If it is low means you will have to take care. If it is high also, you have to take care. So monitoring is very important of this particular mineral. Potassium again is found in all soups, all vegetables, all fruits, right? So high potassium is also present in dried fruits, that is apricots, lentils, potatoes. They're all high in potassium. So if there is any renal comorbidities, Potassium and sodium, both are electrolytes. They get imbalanced. So when it is imbalanced means we have to try getting them in the proper level. So there are certain things which we have to say no for it and we should not be taking it. And there are certain things where we can include in the meal as well as it is good for our health. The calcium which I was talking of for osteoporosis. So osteoporosis causes fractures of hip, wrist, vertebra because these are the common things. Slightly slip and the bones are fractured. So there can be condition where the person is osteoporotic or the person has low calcium intake. So dairy products, fortified juices, tofu, spinach to be included in the meal so that the calcium has been taken care of. So magnesium, again, the mineral is generally found in dietary fibers, that is all green leafy vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, breakfast cereals. We have to include magnesium in our meals. Iron, as I was talking for, iron helps in transportation of oxygen to the tissues through hemoglobin and myoglobin. So, but the hemoglobin, if it is less, means iron is less. Anemia is the common cause which is seen in the elderly people. So we have to have a good source of iron. Again, absorption of iron is very important along with vitamin C. So we always say ki you have whatever high iron things like liver is there, you have dried foods, you have citrus juices along with this liver, or you have green leafy vegetables, just squeeze in lemon before having it so that it is good, right? So this to be included. So how can it be healthy? How do we choose? This slide is come again. Yeah. So balanced nutrition, how can we take? Concentrate on protein and fiber, as I said. Colorful meals, that is rainbow color is recommended. So rainbow has all 7 colors, include all 7 colors in the meal. So there has to be a red, there has to be green, there has to be white, there has to be purple color, there has to be a yellow color. All the colors are very important. So when sight of seeing rainbow color also will help you to have the food, right? So aim is to mix, keep yourself active. You have to also have exercise routine. So exercise routine can depend from person to person. The person who can go for a regular walking can go for regular walking. If they like to go for exercise, they can. If they are very healthy and they can do brisk walking, jogging, dancing, please do it, because this gives you a happy hormones stimulation also. This can keep yourself happy. So when you are happy, the intake of food also is good. So these things to be kept, because this is interconnected with each other. So if you have family and friends, connect with them. Get engagement, engagement in social and physical is very important. That is, you have to get together, you arrange get together, you can engage in social activities. You can call your friends and you can have a good chit chat or have things together, right? Set goal for yourselves to achieve, growing up, career goals, family goals. This all are very important for good achievements. Go for regular health screening, because health screening is again very important. Chronic diseases are slow time, which is not been evolved. They don't show any symptoms. But if they are present, if regular health screenings are done, then they help for the health screenings. We come to know whether if any imbalance is there, any nutrition is not right, or maybe any levels are very low, maybe sodium, potassium, magnesium. If the person is having high BP, the cholesterol can come, lipid profile, renal profile. This all are very important for a common person to judge how the health is. If everything is normal, it's good, right? And don't worry, be happy. You have to appreciate things around you and be thankful for whatever you have. So that is very first thing. You have to be happy. You have to appreciate whatever is there around you. You have to be thankful for whatever is there. So every day is a good day, if you think. And we have to really make our mind, because there are so many situations, so many challenging situations where we see people. So we are thankful we are here, and I'm very thankful for you for giving me chance to talk here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the session.
Thank you. There is so many things which is really there, and I have to complete it. Just give me time. It's not
Okay.
coming.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So sometimes the health issues are there, and if you are tired, like see, there are health issues. There are other problems where you see some tips for that, like potlucks you can have. If there is a trouble in chewing, now what happens is, as soon as the elderly, if we talk about, sometimes even the normal person also has dental issues. So there are certain times to look good, there is a dental issue. They get it corrected, there is a dental problems. If the person cannot chew, there is a dental problem. If the teeth are not strong, even that has a dental problem. So we have to really visit a dentist and find out why it is like that. So if it's something of that sort, we have to get it corrected. If not, the food which has been planned should be easy for swallowing, easy for chewing, so that it is overcooked. It should be packed in nutrients. These all things we have to really take care. If there is trouble in tasting the food, there are certain times smell and taste also differs. So during that time, the color and texture will help us to at least make the person eat well. So that to be concentrated on. Nutrients and calories has to be taken care of, because as it is, the intake is very low. So the people should have meals which is packed in nutrients. So if it is a normal dal chawal, also it has to have little more things along with vegetables. If a bowl of vegetables, if you say, the intake is very poor. So dal chawal, if you mix it with vegetables and put 1 teaspoon of little ghee, at least it will give taste, no? So that we can do it. So to make our things simpler, it is easier for us to plan things well. Okay, so the salt, which is very important. Salt is what normal NaCl, which has been present in our food. Yeah, and we have it too much. Now, if we say too much, everybody says नहीं हम तो कम बहुत कम खाते हैं. हम तो नमक डालते ही नहीं हैं. हम चावल में भी नहीं डालते हैं, रोटी में भी नहीं डालते हैं. But there are certain times when the salt is required by our body, and it is present in invisible things. Like if you see even the vegetables, even the food which we consume has invisible amount of salt. So there is lot of salt which is there. The salt which we are talking about is only the salt that is seen, but the packet foods has lot of salt. Ready-made foods has salt. Sauces has salt. Cereals, crisps, whatever we get from outside has salt. So it is not only the cooking table salt. So when it is salt, we have to consider everything as salt. So how much salt, we have to actually look at the labels. Now the labels are the labels which are present in our packet items. So if you see what to check for nutrition is a label which matters. So if it is a label saying the ingredients, the detail of the ingredients, there are certain times written refined. Now if it is a bread, it will be written refined flour 50%, or maybe wheat flour is added, soya flour is added, whatever is added. No, the ingredient details will be there. Date of manufacturing, date of expiry makes a very important thing to check the labels. Why? Because there are certain times we see the labels, we see the expiry, but we don't realize that this is the same month expiry. So if we don't consume in the same month, it is going to expire. So we have to always buy things which is near, that is the manufacturing date is the current month, and the date of expiry has to be later. So like that we have to decide. Again, the details to be checked for the nutritional facts, whatever are present. So it has salt intake, carbohydrates, calories, how much it is mentioned on it. So label makes it's an important thing we have to consider. Now, common concerns to handle, that is natural aging. Bones become weak, intake is poor, immunity is low. So we have to always include nutrition as per the aging. That is, for bones, calcium is important, vitamin D, as I said earlier. If you have to build your immune system, vitamin C has to be included, antioxidant foods to be included. Lifetime exposures. Now, there are certain elderly people who have allergic to pollen, dust. There are unhealthy habits. They have lot of tea, or they have lot of water sometimes. They have a lot of irregular routines. They don't eat in particular time, right? There are certain chronic conditions where diabetes are there. This is sugar to be monitored and accordingly medications to be modified regularly. The diet should be followed again depending upon the sugars. So in diabetes, always HbA1c gives a valid report where we can monitor and modify our sugar intakes in the body, right? So simple sugars to be as it is avoided, complex sugars to be included. When it is a BP, again BP monitoring and medications to be taken and diet to be continued accordingly. If it is an heart element, due to the conditions, low fat diet to be followed with modification. Arthritis is becoming common because the protein, the calcium, and vitamin D, three things plays a very important role. So if it is not taken well, the bone starts aching, cartilage breaks down, happens slowly. There is a stiffness, there is a swelling, and difficulty in moving. So once we get this difficulty in moving, we don't get up from a place and walk because there is a joint pain. So when you have this symptoms, start having calcium, protein, protein. We can include vitamin K2 inside in the food, right? So these things have to be taken care of, where the arthritis can lower down along with the medications and the diet. Cancer, as per the condition and the stages, it needs to be modified. High protein diet is always recommended as the person has low in immunity. Cancer cells, as they grow abnormally, intake is not proper, and there is loss of weight as well as low resistance. The person needs to be reminded, and sometimes they forget what they have taken. So intake and output, both is a challenge. Indigestion and overload also plays an important role. So if the person has to eat outside because they feel like eating outside, they like outside food, they like tasty food, which follows with indigestion. So we have to really take care and we have to segregate the foods because they can eat outside. It's not like they cannot eat outside, but what they eat and what suits them is very important. So there are certain times certain food ingredients doesn't suit them, and if they go outside and eat the same thing, it will be bad. So indigestion comes along with it. So at home, if they are having nutritious milk and they are having everything properly digesting properly, and if they have anything outside and over quantity, they might have indigestion. So these things to be taken care of. Physical injury due to imbalance is there most of the time. Sometimes the balance goes. The person may fall down, or there may be a fall with certain other things also which coming in. So high protein diet, biomedical parameters need to be monitored as per the condition, and the intake needs to be taken care of. So the diet needs to be modified accordingly. Now, bladder control is like urine control is not in control. Sometimes it just goes on. So the doctor needs to find the solution for it. Getting up and going to the washroom as early as possible is not possible. So the person doesn't drink water. And even if they drink water, they have to go immediately to the washroom. That same thing gives a stress. Against avoid sleepless nights are also being seen because they have to go to the washroom again and again. So this things to be rectified, visit a doctor, and the diet to be modified accordingly. Renal conditions again comes with comorbidities which are to be addressed as per the latest reports. So if there is any edema, there is any fluid restriction, they have to monitor themselves by intake and output chart, and they have to monitor their daily intake, how much they are eating. As per the condition, 0.8 grams of protein has been recommended and according to be taken. Now, there are certain, when it is a renal conditions, there are most of the time electrolytes imbalance we have to see. We have to see for creatinine levels, that is renal profile is to be concentrated on. And if it is imbalanced, or if it is not in right proper renal profile, then we have to visit a doctor for medications. Constipation is always there most of the time. So high fiber diet has been recommended along with the water intake to be monitored, right? So water, fiber, protein, very important to add with the food. Now respiratory illness, asthma, COPD, right? Weakness, low immunity, this all comes. So now for cardiac and pulmonary, we have got rehabilitation programs. So person can join this rehabilitation program where the exercise has been under a trained person and the proper exercise has been guided. So this becomes easier for the person to at least know what type of exercise is for an individual, because it depends for person to person. If the person might do it well, person might not do it well. But yes, while doing exercises and while taking care of himself, he at least comes to a stage where he knows what is good for himself to be concentrated on, right? Eyesight, as I said, it depends. We have to visit an ophthalmologist if there is any problem for correction. Otherwise, vitamin A rich food is very good for eyesight. So include lot of vegetables, lot of fruits which are orange in color, which are green in color, and that will give us vitamin A rich foods, right? Diet rich in vitamin A, salt monitoring, sugar monitoring, zinc, omega-3 fatty acids have to be taken, looked upon, right? Tuna, avocado, if they are including in the meals, it is very good because they're healthy fats which comes in. Now, these are some breakfast option which I thought so. I should, instead of writing down breakfast option, the picture is good so that everybody understands. Along with soaked nuts, you have to take. So if the soaked nuts are not been chewable, you can blend it with milk. You can make it a paste. You can make it a smoothie, and you can have it along with your breakfast. So that can be a packed nutrient which you included along with your breakfast option, right? So if you see a lunch option, it has to be different colors so that it looks good along with your salad options. If you don't want to have dal chawal sabzi roti, you can have a Frankie, but it has to be high in protein. It has to be high in fiber. At the same time, it has to be chewable also. So you have to decide how you want to have. If you cannot chew, mince it, grate it, blend it, make it a smoothie form of type, and you can have it. Fruits, you can have it as a whole. Don't strain the fruits anytime you have in between, or don't have juices. Instead of juices, can have cut fruits. Again, the quantity is very important depending upon the condition. So to keep hydrated, it is not always water. You can always have nimbu pani. You can have buttermilk. Buttermilk is the best source where you get probiotics also. So probiotics are again good for our gut flora, where the digestion comes in, and digestion is again smooth due to the buttermilk is the good source of lactobacillus, right? So this is called sol curry, which is pink in color. So sol curry comes from kokum juice. So kokum juice, it doesn't give any acidity. It gives good digestion capacity because it has got the fruit called kokum, which is alkaline in nature, right? Then there are certain fruit juices, the things which have kept. Now there is something in the market called detoxifying juices. So there are huge reels on intranet also. So now for the best thing is we have to include, if you have water, just a bottle of water, you can put in that lemon slices, you can put little pudina in it, you can put a little jeera powder in it, and you can keep it for some time, the overnight, and you can have it in the day. So that can detoxify your system. You can put some tulsi leaves also. So that again helps. These are the snacking options. So this is in between, maybe in the evening times. You can always have this. Laddus, which I have shown because most of the time we feel we should have something sweet. But instead of having sugar, you can put dates, you can put jaggery. If the person is not diabetic, can use jaggery. If the person is a diabetic, can use date syrup to make it little sweeter. If not date syrup, you can have little dry fruits like dates, raisins, and anjeer. They can bind it together to make a laddus. Along with makhana, you can put nuts. You can put multi-seeds, which are again very rich and packed in nutrients. These are the colorful salads. As I said, it looks colorful, it appears good. We have to eat also, so that fiber you get, right? These are the millet options. So millet options are really good for regulating our sugars. It acts a good plus. You don't feel hungry if you have millets as the source. So millet dosa, maybe millet dosa, like that you can do. Ragi dosa you can add, jawar dosa you can add. So like that you can include in your meals, a variety of it. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for a very detailed, session. And I think all your slides have been amazing. As I mentioned earlier, this entire session, the entire video will be available on the seniorstoday.website, seniorstoday.in on Monday evening. So you can have a look at it in case you missed something. You can definitely watch it again, take those notes, what to eat and what not to eat. And all of that. Doctor, there are quite a few questions that have come in. I want to ask you one question. As a dietitian who's been around for, who's been practicing for so long in various hospitals across the country, whether it's in North India or Pune, Mumbai, whatever. How many people actually, when you prescribe a diet, in terms of sheer percentage, how many people actually follow your diet? And it's for a fair amount of time. Or is it just that, people hear you out and then say, yes, we'll do it. And, then they're not able to do it. Or they just decide to break it.
Okay. So see, the people who are visiting a hospital, obviously they might come for a health checkup or maybe a patient earlier, right? But yes, see now the entire, the people are becoming conscious for diet. So there are many people who wants to have variety in the food. At the same time, they have to put their diet in proper place. So if the person comes themselves asking for a dietitian, asking them to monitor their diet, whether they are taking intake properly, or they have to include something or to exclude something. What is our role here is we try and modify the home diet, whatever they take at home. So we ask them their recall, that is their home diet, whatever they take. So at least 80% of people do come for a follow-up, asking for whether they are doing it properly or not. So they do come back and they do ask for their queries, and we get them solved.
Right. Thank you. A question that has come in is, ma'am, our non-vegetarians are at an advantage for nutritious food, especially protein-rich food. And how does a vegetarian like me, a Jain like me, how do I manage to?
Yes. So you can include nuts. You can include nuts in your meals. You can include protein source like soya. You can do tofu. You can have pulses. You can have paneer as a source. You can have milk and milk products, curd, buttermilk. You can have nuts and seeds also comes in this. So you can include all sorts of as a protein-rich food.
Right. I know you've mentioned this, but what is the right time to have one's dinner? And what is the right time? What are the right times to have all the meals?
Yeah. See, now in the morning, if you say the normal Indian population, they have normal either black tea or either a normal tea. So instead of having a tea, if they have maybe a coconut water, maybe a nimbu pani, maybe a coconut juice, or maybe a detoxifier water in the morning as the first drink, it is good. Later on, they can have their breakfast. Maybe at 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock, they should finish their breakfast. Later by 11 o'clock, they can have their fruits. If not fruits, they can have soup. If not soup, they can have a nimbu pani there. If not nimbu pani, if they want to really eat something as a packed nutrient, they can have some soaked dry fruits also. So that will be the actual time where the absorption also happens along with the water or maybe a drink. Maybe buttermilk is a good source here because probiotic also comes in. And your lunch should be between 1, maybe 12 to 1. Should not exceed more than 1:30. Evening snacks can be by 5. And dinner should be from 7 to 8. By 8, 8:30, your dinner should be over so that you get time, the body gets time for digestion, because digestion takes place in 2 hours. From 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, the digestion happens, proper digestion starts. Then the body has time for regeneration, that is the cell regeneration happens. Body detoxifies also. So there has to be some time for detoxification. Then body needs little rest. So again, the cycle goes on. So the timings and the the time at which it is being taken is very important. So we have to follow the time as per the schedule, because nowadays the people are busy. And then if the guest comes or anybody comes, we try and say, okay, we'll have it later. And that particular day, it's a late meal for us.
But, in cities like Mumbai, where you are, or Bangalore, which is perhaps worse, and even, elsewhere where all our viewers are right now, it is impossible to be reaching home, especially those who are still working or
Right.
involved in some way.
Right. So in that particular case, what we tell them to have a good breakfast. That is a good healthy breakfast. Your lunch can be a lot of fibers and protein together, and your dinner should be always light. So you can either end up having a lot of like just a normal, if it is a vegetarian, you can have just a bowl of pulses, or maybe a fiber salad or something, or vegetable khichdi if it is liked by, or maybe a quinoa salad, or maybe chicken salad. That can be your one meal with soup, so that it is lighter. So you have to keep your dinner always light with lot of fibers in it and good protein.
And as you mentioned, not too many liquids along with it.
So that liquids too much of is not mentioned, because there are certain times what patient complains, or the elderly people complains, is the entire night they have to go for urination. So what doctors usually suggest, yes, the colorful liquid also matters. Again, if it is 30 ml, 40 ml, 60 ml, 90 ml matters a lot, because along with that, it is not only the liquid which you are having. It is along with that whatever items you are having, because most of the time it is fried things along with kept. There are wafers, there are fried chips which have been there. Instead of that, if it is a salad, maybe just a slices of cucumber and tomato, or maybe anything that is cooked in, maybe in tandoor, you can always like it. So that can be included as a thing. And see, alcohol should not be an everyday process. Once in a while, once with friends, again, the quantity matters a lot. It should not exceed more than 60 ml. Whatever you are having, what usually we say is dilute it. So if it is 30 ml, if you are taking at present, make it 15 ml, dilute it, and then you can consume. But again, yes, alcohol should not be taken every day. It has to be monitored, and according to the type of what alcohol you are having.
I know we've crossed our time, but I have just two more questions, which are actually both of them are the same, are similar, and especially in this season. This is the season when a lot of people are fasting, and there's also this whole concept of intermittent fasting. What is your view on intermittent fasting? One, and second is, when one is fasting, for instance, in this period of Shravan, or when you have the Ramzan period, or in Lent. There are various times of the year when a lot of communities are fasting. What is your view on that kind of fasting, and what should people do to ensure that their systems are in place?
Right. So see, when the fasting is there, like in Shravan, if you say, so now the vegetables which we can include is the seasonal vegetables, right? But during fasting, there are certain vegetables like potatoes are being taken, sweet potatoes have been taken. But if the person is a diabetic, this we cannot. If it is a Shravan, right? So we can use millets, that is banyan millets. We can have wari, we can have rajgira, that is amaranth. So this we can include it in our meals. So this acts as a good source, first in protein also, at the same time in fiber also. Potato and sweet potatoes, we have to check the person, if the person is a diabetic, or if it has a renal condition, then sweet potatoes cannot be allowed, but otherwise we can include, right? Peanuts, lot of peanuts they use. But if the person is acidic, so peanuts might cause lot of problem. Fruits can be included. But again, if the person is a diabetic, check on with sugars, because sugars might go high if there are a lot of fruits included. Curd can be done, because curd is again a probiotic. Buttermilk can be done. So buttermilk with little of salt, pinch of jeera powder can be a good thing. Banana and curd, well, it's a probiotic and prebiotic combination together. So they can have it. And one meal is always there. So that can be taken little early, maybe at 7 o'clock. So the entire day goes well. So it has to be planned well, and the fast can take on.
Right. And what is your view on intermittent fasting?
Yeah. So now intermittent fasting, it depends. See, the elderly person do have medications, right? Now, intermittent fasting, they don't eat and they end up having very less, only 2 meals per day is not right. So they have to have in between water. They can have buttermilk, they can have makhana, they can have dry fruits. So these four things, if they have, then if they have a major meals in the morning and in the evening, it's okay. But they should have fiber in between. That is not only 2 meals, because 2 meals will, if the person is a diabetic or if the person is underweight, might not get enough nutrition. And again, it leads to the low immunity, it leads to low stomach flora, because see, acid is continuously secreting. So if the person is not eating, person can be acidic. So in between, water has to be there, buttermilk they can take fruits, which are complex, that is fibrous foods, they can always have. They can have a curd. These are all low in fat. So they can have, that's also they can have in between.
Right. We've totally run out of time. I know there are quite a few questions that have come in. I'm sorry, we're not able to take questions. We normally have our session starting from 5
So there is something in chats also, I think.
Yes, I think, yeah. So what we'll have to do is, ma'am, we'll have to end it now because, we have a time of 5 to 5:45. But we'll get back to you again. We'll, request the Hinduja Hospital to for us to have you once again. I think it was an excellent session, and we will, look at having you once again with these questions. We'll note down these questions and and have them sent to you. Or
no issues. You can mail us and we'll reply to them. No issues at all. Yeah.
Thank you very much for
Thank you so much.
for your time and for a very detailed session today with all possible questions that people could have. Thank you once again, and as always, we will be back once again next Saturday at 5 p.m. for another session of Health Live at Seniors Today. You can pre-register. You can let us know that you want to be there, so we will inform you. And of course, you can download the Evergreen Club app, which is available on Android as well as on iOS. So, you will be informed about it. You can join us from there. And of course, you can join us from in the way you have. Those of you who are watching us on YouTube, and I think I've just been informed there are over 1,000 people who are doing that. Please note that if you were on Zoom, you would have been able to ask questions, directly to, you are able to ask questions directly to all the doctors who are invited here, to all the medical practitioners who are invited here. So you could have asked questions, but nevertheless, most of the questions have been answered. So thank you very much once again. Thank you very much,
thank you so much.
Rutu Dhodapkar, and thank you to the Hinduja Hospital team for facilitating this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.